Hi, today's episode of The Tinkerer, we're going to try and replace the fan in the back of a Samsung electric fan assisted oven. This is quite a trick one. It's got two compartments and two fans, so you can run this one and this one independently. It's different temperatures, which I find pretty handy, or you can take the center bit out and then just use it as one big oven. But what that means is it has two fans, and what is very interesting to note is they spin in different directions to better circulate the air when it's one big oven. But what's different about this oven is the top one, the bolt undoes anti-clockwise, as you would expect, but the bottom one does the other way around. So that also means there's two different part numbers for the motors on here, and the fans that attach the blades, they're different as well. So make sure you're ordering the right component before you start this job, because you won't be able to fit the upper one in the lower section. So the first thing to do, obviously, take all the shelves out, and we need to take this door off, then slide the whole thing out. Remember to take the power off at the back. I'm quite lucky, I've got a long flex cord on the back of this, so I don't need to undo the power cable itself. The first thing is to take the door off. You've got these hinges, you have a little clip here, you lift that up, and there's one on both sides. That then enables it so that when you close the lid, see how it blocks and engages, then you just lift and pull the hinges out like that. So the first thing I'm going to do is undo these screws and take this off and see what's behind there. With that panel removed, you can see this is the fan I've got the problem with, and it's got a captivation nut on there, but you can't get to any of the mechanisms, so it's going to mean stripping the back off and getting to it that way. So now I'm going to try and remove the top. So we've got a couple of screws around each side. It's going to undo those and then see if we can get the back section off, and there's another screw there. Remember to make sure that you've disconnected the power before you do anything like this, because you don't want any nasty shocks. Okay, so it's just got some hinges at the bottom there, which it just lifts off here. You can see on the back of here, this is the motor that makes the fan move. This is my replacement spare. They seem to look pretty much the same, although this section here is different. The connectors are slightly different, which is interesting. But aside from that, they physically look like they're the same unit. So it's just a case then of how we take the fan off the other side and get this out of the housing. So let's see how we do that. Okay, so here we've got take this bolt off here. What's interesting is every other guide you read on the internet about taking a fan off the back of a fan convection oven, they'll say turn it right, turn this bolt right, which is the opposite of what you would normally do, which is turn something left to undo it. Now the Samsung manual actually says undo it by turning the bolt left. So let's see if we can do what the manual says and turn it left. There we go. So that just loosens off to the left. Like I say, that's completely the opposite of most oven guides that say that these are the opposite than you'd expect. Cool. So that just lifts off. And it's time to go around the back. Alright, so let's just disconnect these. Being mindful of which one went onto what. I notice these haven't got any kind of identifying marks on them. So I'm going to wrap that one round there, and that one over there, and try to remember which was which. Like I said, I don't think it matters if one's a positive or a negative, we'll find out. Now to unscrew this, it looks like these have got these folded tabs. I'm expecting to have to fold those down to be able to rotate this out. Is it just the one? No, there's another one over there. Let me just retain and lock it in place. No, it looks like that one doesn't have one. So maybe it's only the top two. Let's see if it turns. Hey, hey! And there we have it. You can see this looks like it's burned out or something's gone wrong with it there. So the first thing I notice is it's got a sleeve on it. It doesn't look dirty, so I'm not going to bother cleaning that. So notice that these fans are different for the upper and lower oven. The difference being that they spin in different directions, hence why the top one screws or unscrews differently than you would expect. What I'm going to do is just check the nut, the captivation nut. Yeah, so that goes up the correct way, clockwise. So what we can do now is put our new fan in place. This should just slide into here, gently doing this. And make sure those feet are all in. And rotate it. Yeah, it's in on all sides. That needs twisting a little bit more, I think, before, there we go. And then what we've got to do is just pop these back up to prevent any chance of it undoing, although I think that's fairly unlikely. There we go. And our two cables need to go back on. So this one was here. This one was here. Voila. What we're going to do is just put this back on here, so you can see this has got a slightly flat section, so we need to rotate that to match it up with the flat section on there. There we go. So that's how it should be. And remember to screw it on clockwise. I don't imagine this needs to be super tight. That'll do. It's certainly not going to rattle off. What we need to do next is stick the back on. Now I'm just going to do these loosely to start with, so we've got a bit of movement to jiggle it around. So let's get the back on. So then you get the locators in the bottom there. Four of those just to slide in, flip it up. Remember this goes under here, like that. Pass all the screws back on, back seated nicely. It's not pinched, everything, connectors, everything all lines up, and that's all good. And I'm going to put the hinges back on. that's on properly. That should fit in there okay. There we go. Now that fits correctly. The moment of truth, we'll turn the power back on. Let's set the clock. So it's 13:04. Okay, so now I've got the centre section in, I can set the mode, and it's on the fan. And we can see in the back there, we've got a working fan. We best check the bottom oven as well. See if that's still working as we expect. And it is, so we haven't broken it. That's a good thing. Mission accomplished. Really pleased with that. That part cost me about £45. If you went to a Samsung engineer, that's going to be an upwards of, I'd have thought £150, £200 for them to come out and do that job. So that feels like a real win, and I've got a working oven again. These are like £450, £500 if you get them in a sale. So they're not cheap items. They're well worth keeping running, and I've been really pleased with this oven during my ownership of it. It does everything I need. So there we go. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to see more of these types of videos, subscribe to my channel. Remember to click to like this one. I'd really appreciate that. And put any comments down below to let me know where I've gone wrong or anything else you'd like to see. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have success fixing yours as well. See ya.